My final boss is a Death Knight. That should hopefully be a good sign. What do you guys think I'm gonna enter? Like I've waited until the 25th. I almost exclusively play Hearthstone on stream these days, so like it's really funny how like late into the month I actually get to Legend. But yeah, this is my final boss. Do you think I'm gonna enter at like 2,500 or something? You think top 1,000 for sure? Probably not, right? I think not. Does legend climbing get easier the later you are into the month? I think it depends what rank bracket you're at. Guess I won't play this. Because like getting to legend at all if you're an 11x later on in the month is like impossible. You literally can't get there. You can't find a game. Like 10 minutes for each game, terrible. I'm up against Draenei Death Knight. Chat, what's Draenei Death Knight? I managed a super early wild legend this month at like 135 on the 3rd or 4th, which is odd. I am usually on end of the month climber. I keep forgetting to take this ultimate infestation out. I need to put something else in, anything else. Help, chat. That said, I think I'm picking that here. Put Omu in over UI? I could put in one of the goofballs. It's true. Yeah, I don't know what I would put. Must you? Must it be this way? To remember to save my Bob for Velen. Thanks, Ceaseless? Yeah, thanks, Ceaseless. It keeps doing that to me. Put Smothering Starfish for fruit lethals? Can I put Ziliax in the ETC? Wait, I've never tried, can you? This Hearthstone music is very cowboy-y. Was it the designated showdown music? We're also on the cowboy map. Real. I can play the UI next turn, but I also, like, my hand is too big, right? So next turn I go to 7, I can play ANR and something else, maybe this, to go to 5, then play that on my 4, so yeah, I mean, we can do stuff.
There appears to be no signs of intelligence.
There appears. Does anyone know? Can you put Ziliax inside of ETC? Like the new one? Wow. Well, there's a flag.
I bestow
Guys, I
The virtue of the wild.
Cool. The wiki says you can't. I would have expected it not to be able to. Drain IDK. Pretty spicy. Feels like something you do with just autocomplete. I don't know, like what makes you put Drain IDK together? Is that like a quest to play Drain I? Is that why you would do that? Guess we say bot for Velen? Absolutely. He's here just in case Velen. But like, I haven't seen a wild card yet, right? So, is Hermitage? Is that wild only? Actually can't keep track ever again. Well, I guess I'll heal to full.
The magic of life.
Drum circle. Way to go. Now what? Soul Stealer, that's what. You guys ready for the Soul Stealer? That's not Soul Stealer. It's also not Soul Stealer. It is an Order of All Time. It's
strap yourselves in.
kind of a sad final boss, don't you think? Not very showcasey. But, you know, at least it's a win. At least we can finally be legends after all this time. After all these years. After all these moons. Alright, let's see what we've won. Oh, lower than I thought. Yeah, still top 2,000. That's cool. Ranithal, but that means Holy Wrath. I don't want to play against Holy Wrath. You stop it. You stop playing that against me. You know I don't like it. You know full well I don't like it. Cut that out. Gotta say, Martian, I've been loving the evolution of the Jade Druid deck and have been enjoying playing it. Probably the most fun I've had in Hearthstone in a hot minute. Nice, nice. Just gain 200 armor, you got it. Okay, we're up against Spaghetti Paladin. I thought we'd play against less spaghetti decks in Legend, but I guess not. Yeah, I remember this being like a card in Standard, right? Like there was that one Control Paladin deck that played it just because it was kind of okay. Oh my god, rude. Okay, that was just counterspell. One mana counterspell. Disaster.
Reporting for duty.
Great. Is this another one, do you think? Oh my god, number 2? Wow. Alright, what do we get this time? Trail Mix! I wonder if I can do anything with that. Not really. I'll be at 7 mana. Oh, if we top deck Drum Circle, that'd be great. Can you Omu into Double Fruit? Yeah. Guidance to Nourish? Or, yeah. Nourish, let's go. Brutal. Bio project, I guess. My power grows. Haha, no slicer for you. Your hand is full of literal bungus. Oh, that wasn't even off the Vicar. They're just playing that. The Sunwell. Hilarious. Trail mix is kind of the same, but not really, yeah. Funny.
All are nourished when the cycle renews.
All are nourished when the cycle renews, chat. Uh-huh. Yeah. I'm excited for this Ibis. How do you feel about the new bracket system in Commander? I think it's bungus. So, after a, I don't want to say scandal, there was a controversy involving a ban, with like a recent ban, and as a result of it, the people who were in charge of Commander gave care of it back to Wizards of the Coast. And Wizards of the Coast, in order to avoid controversy with banning cards in the future, said that their solution was going to be, we're going to have a tiered bracket system so that players can like more accurately describe the power level of their decks. And like I thought the purpose was so that, you know, you could have powerful cards legal in Commander still, you know, like that would just be like, you know, the vintage would be like, you know, they came out with a 5 bracket system, so 5 would be like there are no bans, you could play with anything. Like that's what I was expecting, is like, you know, they have a clear, you know, these are the cards that are powerful enough to be able to play in tier 2, or, you know, so you could actually describe your deck. And what they ended up doing was having this incredibly subjective like word pile, honestly. Like it doesn't serve anybody. So like they have this new like pseudo ban list called Game Changers, and they picked 40 of the good cards. They didn't put everything that's as powerful as a Game Changer in the Game Changer pile. They just picked 40 of them. And so like different levels can use different portions of them. So like if you're on level 3, you can have 3 Game Changers in your deck, and if you're level 4, you can have as many Game Changers as you want. And then the difference between level 4 and level 5 is just your subjective interpretation of your deck. Like the ban pool, like what you're allowed to play in 4, is identical to 5. The difference is supposed to be whether you've made your deck specifically to get you the most wins, or if you've made your deck like as good as you could possibly make your deck for a commander that you wanted to play in Commander. You know, like it's like, is this your pet competitive deck, or is this your, you know, min-max try-hard deck? Like that's the difference between 4 and 5. Absolutely useless. Like when would you do that? Like you can already say like, well, I have a competitive EDH deck, but I've used my silly commander. Do you have any silly commanders at a competitive level? And then like everyone can already like make a group based around that type of thing. You know, you don't need the help of having C4 or like a bracket 4 versus bracket 5. It's subjective too. Like what commander? Like there isn't a list of commanders that are strictly CEDH commanders, right? Like it's completely subjective. There's nothing like, I don't know. And people do have wildly different opinions also, right? Like it's not like you know, everyone's gonna know what a a CEDH commander is. If you look at Hearthstone, there's always wildly different thoughts on what type of deck you should be allowed to play if you're playing casual. Like, people's different opinions on that differs completely. So like it's just not helpful to have a subjective difference between power 4 and power 5. And then so the difference between 1 and 2 is also hilarious. So 2 is no game changers and at most 3 tutors. That's 2. And it's supposed to be the power level of your average precon. So your average pre-constructed deck. Like if they're going to sell you a pre-constructed commander deck, the average power level of those is supposed to be what a level 2 is. And they the difference between 2 and 1 is just whether or not your deck is a deck or not. Like 1 is supposed to describe the decks that you put together where every card in the deck is by the same artist, or like, you know, like you pick some stupid thing, like a deck that like isn't intended to have synergy at all. It's just supposed to be dumb. Like that's the difference between 1 and 2. And if you're gonna build a deck for level 1, do you need a bracket? Like my deck is jank. Like the only thing that describes your deck that you've put together where everything is just, every card in the deck is by the same artist, the only thing that describes that is I've put together a deck that is only built with cards of the same art. Do you have a deck that's similarly terrible? Do you have another thing that's as bad as this one? Like level 1 doesn't help you. You don't need to waste a tier on that. The bracket system for Commander should have been just, you know, 4 different ban lists, and each like previous tier can use a certain amount of cards from the tier up. Like I really liked that part of it, because I feel like flat banning things is a little too rigid. But like if tier 3 can use 3 cards that are banned otherwise, you know, from the next tier up, that's kind of cool. Then you can, like, you know, choose which special cards you would really need to make this deck take off. You know, it's a little less limiting. But anyways, they made something that was completely useless, and I don't expect them to fix it. Like I imagine they're gonna try to fix it, and it's going to be just as bad. Like their goals just aren't correct. They need, what was missing was structure, and they added more subjectivity. We have plenty of subjectivity in Commander. You can already kind of like get your group together with certain expectations, that we don't need any help in that regard. What we need is structure. Give it very flat, strict structure. That's the only thing that would help. Martian is so cool that he plays without looking, tells interesting stories, and wins. Would more tiers be helpful? No, just better tiers. Literally just better tiers. 5 is fine, just make them useful. It has 1 useful tier. There's the tier 3 is useful, tier 5 is useful. That's it. Like, am I playing with like reasonable restrictions with tier 3, or am I playing full-blown CEDH? Other than that, like like you have to talk it out with your group to decide. Anything other than that, you have to talk it out with your group to decide. See you later, Lex. There's this thing. All right, Shadow Priest, are you gonna actually give me a chance to figure out if the way I've changed my deck is helpful? It's a pretty good start, though. It's a little scary.
Relax your mind.
Will the rule changes impact how I play at all? No. They, like... If they'd given me structure, it would. Because they aren't rule changes, right? They're supposed to be... it's supposed to be a tool you can refer to, but you're not supposed to refer to it if it makes your experience worse, right? Like if you regularly play with 3 other people, like if you have like a regular group of 4 people when you play Commander. Commander, by the way, is it's a magic Highlander. It's like Reno all the time, but there aren't like well, I was gonna say there aren't like Reno type cards, but there are actually a little bit. But They don't work. They're not the same as Reno. They're different. There are cards that care if you have your commander out and stuff like that. But anyways, you have like one little guy that you have set aside, and your whole deck can only use the colors that that guy is. And then you have otherwise you have a 99 card deck, and you can only have one of any card that isn't a basic land. And it's typically played in pods of 4, so it's a multiplayer free-for-all type mode. And so it's become very popular because you just get your 3 friends together and you meet and you like have a good time. So like if you're most people would not care about the bracket system, because they're just playing with their friends and they already have their house rules set up. So like it's not a big deal. But I would use the bracket system if it was useful. Like if it was like, you know, tier based I guess I should naturalize the thing, right? Oh man, you know what? Should have hit first. Terrible. It doesn't matter, right? Like we're not gonna win by that 1 damage. We're gonna overwhelm them at some point, but like it's still embarrassing. Anyways, if all 5 tiers that Commander has had strict structure to build within, and then let people optimize within those restrictions, like who cares if people optimize within those restrictions? You don't have to add the extra layer of subjectivity. But anyways, if it had actual structure that you could optimize within, I would definitely build for the different tiers. You know, like I would definitely want to have a tier 1, a tier 2, a tier 3, a tier 4, and a tier 5 deck, like just so I could play with any group, any pickup group, because pickup groups is really where it matters the most, right? But also like me and my friends, like we have commander decks that kind of vary pretty differently. They vary pretty differently based off of just the power level of them is pretty different. So like it'd be nice to be able to easily say, all right, we're gonna play tier 4 tonight, or we're gonna play tier 3 tonight, or something like that. But if the rules didn't matter, why did they make them? They made it so that it would be easier to communicate the power level of your deck. So if you're doing a pickup group, you could say, hey, this is tier 3. Like, is tier 3 okay? Or like you could go up and say, hey, this is otherwise tier 3, but I do have such and such card in it and it's important for the thing. Is that okay? You know, like it to communicate, the idea is for it to be easier to communicate what type of deck you're playing, or like what power level of the deck. But you're not supposed to take it too seriously. You're supposed to be able to like use the rules only as so much as they help you. I think we win now, right? Like it's pretty good. So having an optional bracket system to refer to would be nice. It's also meant to solve the ban problem, right? Because like you'll have these super strong cards that kind of take away the fun of the game if you know at certain power levels, but like they're worth $1,000 or they're worth $200 or something like that, and as soon as you ban them, they're worth nothing. So like it feels bad to have an expensive card and then overnight it's just suddenly awful. So but if you had a bracket system, you know, you could move, instead of banning things outright, you could change which bracket is allowed to play them. So you know, something that's fine in competitive EDH isn't ruining you know tier 3. That's the idea, but they didn't do that. You know, they said they were going to do that, and then they're like, well, we couldn't think of anything that worked. Like literally they say that, like, you know, we talked about it, but everything seems stupid, so instead we made this dumb thing. Like I don't know what's up with them. What do you think they came up with that was worse than what they made? What they did is they did a tier-based bracket system and decided that they didn't like it. Like I think they made something useful and then decided it wasn't worth making something useful, and so they came out with something not useful. Like, I think they did a bad job. That's what I think. Why would they not want the useful thing? It's like different ideology. Like, it's like Blizzard leaving Twist offline for months at a time. What they should do is they should like do reruns of old Twist modes whenever they don't have a new one to showcase, right? They should just leave Twist on all the time and just, you know, like either keep what's up until it changes, or whatever. But they have, for some reason, they have it in their heads that it would be worse for everyone if they did that, even though I think clearly wrong. You know, like sometimes the powers that be just like, they have reasons for not doing what seems like is an obvious thing they should do. I just want an interesting Twist format and not precon decks, so just here is some expansions. Yeah, I mean, like, I think it would be really easy to have something worth playing in Twist, but they just don't. And like, so the precon things, that doesn't appeal to me, but it did appeal to a lot of people. Why didn't they just leave that open until they brought Twist Wonders back? Like, why would that not just be around? People liked that. And like, you know, I didn't like that, but a lot of people liked it, right? Like, it was a popular mode. Like, Twist before precons did not work. People did not play it. And then they made the precon Twist and people played it. So like, why not just leave that forever? Like, you know, like it sucks that I don't get the type of Twist that I want, but like, at least give the people who liked the precon Twist, at least give them their mode. I don't understand the Twist procedures at all, but like, it's the same thing. Like, I don't understand why Magic would not make the useful bracket system that they promised us and instead make garbage. Like, just don't make it. Just be like, it should be like tournament mode the first time, you know. Where they're like, you know what, we're fine, it's 2018 and we're finally gonna come out with tournament mode, and instead of making a bad tournament mode, right, like that, or like giving us something stupid that was completely different like Magic did in this case, and they were like, you know what, we couldn't get tournament mode in any way where we'd actually like it, so we decided not to give it to you after all. Like, Magic didn't even do that. They just said, you know what, instead of the thing we promised, let's give you this like vague weirdo thing, and you can just enjoy it. I so badly want a Twist format where that is either Yu-Gi-Oh with everything neutral, or you pick two classes and then make a deck. Yeah, I mean, those sound great. Sound really fun. I think what happened is the Microsoft changeover kind of like messed with their ability to work on Twists. I think when they were bought, because that was that same time, right? Like, I'm guessing that they didn't want them to put their resources towards Twists, and they just kind of finished out what they already had planned and stretched it over time. I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's just a guess. But I do think that I do think that we should not expect anything new from Twist moving forward, for the most part. I feel like it has been basically acknowledged at this point that Twist is on like the, you know, tertiary level of attention. Twist was cooler when it was just an idea. I don't know. Yeah. I think the launch had to be not botched as bad as it was. As soon as like Twist Wonders launched the way it did, I think it was just over. Now, Drum Circle, I actually don't know how Drum Circle is going to be against Mage. Does not seem like it would be good. Like, it just gives them a board freeze option that they didn't have against my other versions of this deck, but it also probably isn't going to matter because I don't have too many cards that I even want to play. Grifta! Bring duels back. Taking away duels was pretty strange. Except for spells. Rude. Yeah. Like, not even leaving it on... Not even leaving it, like, just static. The explanation I got for, like, why don't you just leave it static was that there's an expectation that duels changes and they were expecting a lot of backlash or something. Are you thinking? I don't know. Am I? I can't play this because then I'll be board locked forever. So I guess I won't. I'll also be board locked if I play this. I could naturalize. This hand is not good. Like, there's too many defensive things in my hand. Guess I'll get this. Duels leaving was strange. Honestly, it would have been fine if they refused to update it and just let it become an imbalanced hot mess. Yeah, I mean, like, they could have balanced the dragons and just not updated it anymore. I don't know. I don't know what the issue was. It also feels like the type of thing they could have set like Arena, where it just goes off of, like, they stop adding new cards to the duels card pool, but like which of the available expansions are allowed at a given time just changes from time to time. Here, have my Prime so I can avoid ads. Thank you so much for the Prime, Yosalak. I appreciate it. I don't know. It seemed like duels was picking up speed right when they got rid of it, you know what I mean? Like, it was almost a popular mode. Duels has got to be more popular than Twist, right? Like, there's no way. Twist is not popular. Twist isn't even around most of the time. I'm very tempted to Solar Eclipse New Heights. So I will. Duels is 1000% more popular than Twist. They say high lamp, high lamp. How about Trog Gem Tosser? I think if Gem Tosser is juicy enough to play in this deck, then it's also, I can't actually activate it, right? Because, like, if I have 30 mana, and like, that's a fun Gem Tosser, but how am I going to spend exactly 27 mana with this deck? It'll happen sometimes, but not most of the time. I don't even think it's good in the ETC. I just think it's not useful. Oh, that you mean potato ETC? I see. Yeah, Elite Tauren Champion. You can stop freezing my board forever. You silly mage. so much new heights. I don't even know how many heights. I do have one naturalized left, and I do have Ceaseless Expanse. So I could play this now just to get it out of my hand. And if I need to play a card, I can naturalize one of these things and then play my Ceaseless. I feel like Hearthstone has failed with alt modes in general, aside from Battlegrounds. They tossed the whole solo adventures to the side, murdered duels because I don't know why. They killed Mercs on arrival in more ways than I can count. Arena feels like an afterthought most of the time, and Twist has been well Twist. I feel like I'm probably missing some others. Yeah, I mean, they haven't had a good track record with it. Okay, so Mercenaries was like reverse Battlegrounds, right? Like Battlegrounds was a success because everyone could play it. Everyone could just play it. It was free. It was like a super free mode. Whenever anyone complains about them trying to monetize Battlegrounds, I roll my eyes so hard because like you get so much for your no money that you pay. Anyways, so yeah, like Battlegrounds is free, so it was a success. People could play it. I think you could get a mode to the point where like it's in between. I think you could have a mode that's like, you know, you get a lot out of I don't know, you know, like compare it to Constructed. Constructed is free to play, but like, you know, pay to have variety. You could have a mode like that where like you could get a lot out of it, you know, for free. It could be, you know, accessible to try, but then you know, if you really fall in love with it and want to like actually enjoy it more, you have to pay. You know, you could do that. It doesn't have to be Battlegrounds level of free for it to be a success. But Mercenaries was the opposite, right? Mercenaries was super duper gate, like you had to pay a ton to be able to enjoy the PvP of no Ramoth for you. You had to pay a ton to be able to play the PvP properly, but more than that, more than the amount of you had to pay to buy something, like the prices for Mercenaries were way over the top. It was crazy. It was shocking to me. And the packs for Mercenaries, they didn't have the same like quality of life enhancements that you come to expect from standard. Like there was not duplicate protection, there was not, you know, you get a legendary after a certain amount of time. It was back to base packs upon release where like you could get garbage forever. So there was that, but also like you had to put so much time into a boring, I don't like everyone who's like trying to say that like the PvE was fun, I don't believe you. All right, that game was, if PvE in Mercenaries was fun beyond a niche audience, it would have been played more, but it wasn't. It was incredibly repetitive and unsatisfying and boring, and you had to grind it into the ground before you could play PvP. Like in Hearthstone, you know, like in the regular traditional game mode, you can go to the solo modes and have your fun solo whatevers, and you don't have to play that for thousands and thousands of hours before you can try, you know, the PvP Hearthstone, you know, like what we're doing right now. You don't have to you don't have to grind. You can just get a deck and play, right? That's what people want when they come to this client. They want to be able to get a thing and play. They don't want to have to put, you know, they don't have to run the same like stupid Mercenaries section, you know, literally 2,000 times in a row to maximize their to maximize their players, and then have to return and do that again if they want to enhance anything else. It's just, oh God, it was so botched. It was so like, how do we make something that's as bad as the negatives of Pokemon VGC that people widely cheat to get around? How do we make something that like encapsulates the spirit of everything that's negative about Pokemon VGC and instead make it worse than that? Like, I don't know. It was bizarre. Is it time for more mirror gaming? I don't think so. They tossed the far left card. I was so tickled when we ran into somebody else playing the Untapped potential. I don't know. I want to play that Nourish. I want to play the Nourish chat. Invigorate. Rude. Rude. What is a 30 health druid? I know, right? It's actually probably, well, I was about to say that's bad news because it means they're probably running Dungar, but now I don't know. Or like Isiel, rather. You're not supposed to have mana. I'm mana guy. You get nothing. You get spaghetti soup. And an extra card. Well, am I supposed to play that now? I don't know. There you go. Yay, we've untapped our potential. Yay. You really missed 2 mana due process? Uh-oh. Is this just like a really outdated, oh no. That's not good. I don't want it. Oh my goodness. Leave me alone. Don't. No. I got the mana conjure. No. Oh. Wait, don't they have my expensive deck now? With no mana to play it? And I have all their cheap stuff? Why would you get rid of that one? That was your most useful one. Well. Yeah, I think I just get to the end of my deck and then kill them, don't I? I think. They're guff. Should I guff? How many? I didn't play New Heights yet, did I? Theo the Treasure? I could Theo the Treasure, that's true. I think I'm just gonna switch back and kill them with these naturalizes though, aren't I? Oh, that's not what I wanted to play. Here, let me Ibis. Just give Ibis one chance to shine. Well, opponent, it's been real. It's been real. I think this is what you were supposed to do to me. This is what I was expecting from you. But, yeah. Actually, I hope it's enough. I didn't actually do any math. It's gotta be enough, right? Yeah. But I thought, like, from full, it was naturalize, solar naturalize, and a due process. Wasn't that the Tony Druid stuff they had to do? And I had, like, the 2/2s to get through the armor, so, like, I thought it was enough.